So remember guys, in this unit we're learning about maps. And the definition we had for maps is just that is a flat representation of a part of the Earth's surface. So it could be a city, it could be a country, a continent, or all the continents. It could be the globe. But the important thing is that it is represented in a flat format. We also talked about that maps aren't always what we think they are. They can be something like a road map that tells us how to get around a city, but they can also be something different. It can tell us about landforms. It can tell us how high an area is if there's a lot of mountains, or how flat it is if it's just a bunch of plains. Or a map can tell us something about human geography. It can tell us about the culture of people in a certain place. It can tell us maybe the religion or the age of people who live in a certain location. But no matter what a map is talking about, every single map has the totals, and we're going to be learning about these. So the totals are the 6 elements that exist on every single map, no matter what the map is talking about. So the TODALS of maps. The T stands for the title, and this is something that's very important because you might have the country of Brazil, but that one country on the map might be showing the physical landforms, the culture. We don't know unless we read that title. So this is essential to knowing what we're looking at. The O is what we just learned, and that's the orientation. So when we were learning the north, west, south, and east, this is called orientation. It tells us what direction things are in. And no matter what map we're looking at, we need to have an understanding of where places are in relationship to each other. So every map will have an orientation, which is also known as a compass rose. Every map will also have the D. The D is the date, and this is very important because it tells us, is this a map we can rely on, or is it maybe too old of a map? For instance, this is 2005. Well, right now we're in 2014, which means that this is a 9-year-old map. So I would look at this date and wonder if there's maybe a better map that's more up to date because some of the information here might not be very accurate. So date is very important on every single map. Then we have the author. The author is important because it lets us know who is producing this map. Sometimes when a map is created, it's created in a way that the author, the person drawing it, is trying to convince other people of something. We call that bias. So we always need to know who is the person making it, who's the author, because it helps us to understand what we're looking at. Maybe the person who created it is trying to make us think a certain way, and so we need to know who this author is. The L in total stands for legend. The legend is the same thing as the key, and this is on every map, and it tells us what we're looking at. It tells us what the different symbols on the map mean. And this is very important so that we can actually interpret what we're looking at. And the last thing is scale. Because this is just a flat drawing or a representation of part of the Earth's surface, we have to shrink everything down really small. And so in order to help us understand how big the things are that we're looking at, we convert the actual size of the thing we're looking at into something a lot smaller. So for instance, here it says 1 inch equals 1 mile. And that helps us to understand how big it really is on the Earth's surface. Alright guys, so these are the totals, the TODALS. And remember, these exist on every single map that we're going to be looking at. So please commit these to memory, internalize them, and let me know if you have any questions.